Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Accountants Are Sexy Changed My Mind. How hot and sexy is Francesca? Welcome to the show. I've been asking you for ages.
How long has it been? About a year?
Yeah, probably. Maybe more actually, because this podcast started September 21.
Oh, you might have done.
Yeah, you were at the top of my list at that point. So it just shows persistence pays.
It does. And I did a lot of podcasts from 2019 and got asked, and you can't do everything. And business grew quite quickly, as you know. And I do like making time for them. So even though I put it off, it was not something I'd never do, because obviously we get on. I've seen your events, which always helps when you meet people as well.
Yeah, it does. I think I never take offense to people saying no to stuff. Never, ever, because they, especially the ones that you want to talk to, are successful and they've got stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm just pleased that you're making the time. Just happy to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
So, we've spoken off air briefly, but your journey is fascinating. I've seen you on LinkedIn. It's like I know you, and I know we've met at Accountex, but it's like I know you because I see you so much online, and I find the journey fascinating. I found it relatable, that how you wanted to grow your personal side for your children and the investment that you're putting into them as people. And I've seen your daughter get a driver's license. You know, I know this stuff about you, and it's so brilliant to watch, but it's terrifying. It's terrifying from your perspective to put yourself out there. So I want to know, why did you start it?
Why did I start it?
Yeah, why did you start putting yourself out there?
Because it's different especially on LinkedIn. So before LinkedIn, I had Instagram. I started Instagram in 2015 time, and I started uploading to my stories now and again. And even then, I thought, God, people are going to hate seeing what I'm eating for food, breakfast, where I'm going to the gym. So it was I did post.
Grenade bars, right?
You what? Sorry.
Grenade bars.
Yeah, grenade bars. Yeah. See what I mean? You know, people know locally as well. Like on Facebook, I started sharing more about the local network that I did.
Yeah.
Like a social networking. And I wanted to post about that on Facebook, because if people don't know about you and what you're doing, how you're going to grow and develop. And that's how I thought the more people know who I am and what I'm up to, the better, because I liked following the people, sharing what they're up to.
Yeah.
So it made sense to me to just do that. And then with LinkedIn, I went on properly in 2019, but I'd been on it for years thinking that's the worst platform in the world. And I think I started lurking from 2018 time, figuring it out and thinking, where am I going to fit in this? And then I thought, I could do car video updates.
Yeah.
Say that I'm leaving my corporate job, and then I can share what I'm going to do to grow the business, because I had loads of ideas and I knew it was going to work. I just knew. And that's where it started. And I stuck to my word throughout. And yes, I've been vulnerable, but actually, why? What's the harm in sharing the real truths of your lives as such? Is it, yes, there are private elements, which I don't reveal everything, but I do reveal quite a lot, and I'm okay with that now.
I think it's a really weird thing. People think that I spend most of my life on social media and I share a lot, and I do, but it's still surface. There is still so much that I don't share, and I won't share. And if I'm having a day where I don't want to share, I just don't.
Yeah.
You know? But I think it's important to be able to become comfortable with sharing online if you want to get the visibility. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Fundamentally, we're online to get business. The way we get business is to put a bit of ourselves out there.
Yeah, the world's changed massively. Like before social media, you'd get business by being in the local paper, delivering a leaflet, going to networking events and being very formal.
A little bit.
It does work a little bit, but I don't think like going on the radio, that I don't think that's going to be there forever, because our kids, because I've got a daughter, she's going to 17 and 18 and my son's 13. I'm looking at what they're doing, and they're not listening to the radio or waiting for a leaflet to come through the door.
No, they are absolutely not. YouTube, TikTok, all over it.
Yeah.
All over it.
They get bored of Instagram as well. They're not bothered about Instagram.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? So I'm only just down with the kids and getting into Instagram Reels, and like they've already moved on. They've already moved on, like somewhat.
Yeah, I started doing a lot of Reels start of 2022, and I got bored quite quickly. But it's good that I can do them. I might even do another Reel on my Future Cloud Instagram.
Yeah. So I want to go back. I want to go back to your origin story of why you became accountant, because you don't look like an accountant. So what happened?
So I was working on a dental reception, and I was going to try and do my where you become a dental nurse. So I was really keen on progressing there. And what started off for me becoming a dental nurse, I quickly realised, ew, I couldn't go in people's mouths.
I am not surprised.
I had a day of doing it. I sat with the dentist and I was like, no, not for me. No, you've got to be up for that.
It's not the good mouths, it's the bad mouths that I've got an issue with.
Exactly. No, thank you. And my children, so Luca was 2, I think, and my daughter was about 5. So I sat there and I thought, and I started asking about the accounts and how the business ran, and I loved it. I love asking questions. I ask people a lot of questions anyway. I'm quite nosy like that, but for the better, I like to find out how I can make things better. So I started doing that, and she was like, "Do you want to study your AAT? Because I want to do it." And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I do. So we did that together. So the manager of the dentist and me went to study. She gave up quite quickly, actually, because I can't remember if she failed an exam and gave up. So I carried on to level 3 and obviously level 4. Then I loved it. I loved going back to study. I was 25 and with my little kids, and I loved it because I just felt like I was achieving something. I felt the sense of achievement. And I also knew I needed to work in a practice. I was desperate to work at Duncan and Topless in Newark because they were a top 30 firm. They were the best that you know about locally as well. And I remember thinking, they're never going to take me in as me as such, because I always thought you had to be formal and boring and stuffy.
Yeah.
But I thought, if I get my foot through the door, they just meet me, they'll see how keen I am, and surely I'll get the job. That's all I wanted, was a foot in the door. So I applied for a job when I was studying level 3 in 2011. So I'd already done 1 year of study. I'm on my 2nd year, and I didn't even get a look in. I don't think they were taken on. I just gave my CV in. But then someone I knew who worked there a year later mentioned it. I said, please, just get me an interview. And she did. And obviously I think they give them a payment or something for referring anyway, which is quite clever, isn't it, to get new team members. And 2012, I think it was, came, and I was doing my level 4 and got an interview, and I was completely myself. I was so nervous in a stuffy office with 2 men in suits, basically. And I just thought, no, what?
Typical accountant.
You couldn't visualize a grey suit, and there you have it. So my heart was like this, because I just thought, I don't really fit in here, but I really want it. I want to get in this professional world. And did you hear that bang? Because that's my son. Their teacher on strike, so my son's off school.
Well, mine's just gone out the door as well. So
that's all right then. So so I got the job 2012, doing my level 4. And that was the massive learning. Oh, he actually said to me as well, you will have younger people take over you, and you'll be on your salary. So the job I was in before, because I got an industry job after working on reception, I was going to be on a lot lower wage. I think it was like £6 an hour, to be honest. And I said, I don't care. I'll do whatever it takes. And I was hungry for it. And that's where the journey of me developing myself and learning Xero. So I jumped on Xero more quicker than a lot of them in there. And that's where the start of it all came from, basically.
Wow. So it's amazing to see the journey and where it all began, because a lot of people say that I didn't find accounting found me. That's how it kind of comes across. And that seems to be the case for you as well. So you kind of just developed into it. When you was in this job, what was you thinking about your future? Was you thinking that you were going to be employed for the rest of your life, or did you have this aspiration to go out on your own from the very start?
So I also, going back to the reception days at Dentacare, I did actually think, what can I do? And I did think everyone needs an accountant. That's the brilliant idea. I'm interested in the invoices and everything else. Hang on a minute. And businesses, I'm nosy. Everyone needs an accountant. Could you imagine I could do it? You know, and that's how it went. I'm different. And I thought, why has it always got to be the same sort of people that do it? And that's how that developed. And when I was at Duncan and Topless, I did visualize an office with people, and I had a little giggle to myself and thought, could you imagine me running my own team? So it's almost like I knew I wanted it, but it wasn't like, I'm definitely going to do that. It's a nice vision to have. And obviously I've done all the steps to slowly do it. So there was no pressure. It was a nice dream and vision. So I wanted to do that, but I obviously still didn't believe it was going to happen.
There was no direct path to it, but it was just in the mind's eye, just bubbling away. Yeah. So what kind of made that happen then? What was a catalyst to saying, I've either got the belief or I know that I can do this?
So I networked to death, as in I went to an early morning business club at 7 a.m. every Friday, first Friday of the month, and not many would do that at Duncan and Topless, and it's quite a brave thing to do. And I was quite, you know, at 20, I think I was 29 when I went to my first one, which isn't young, but to in that business world it is, because they're all more 40s, 50s, and more confident, mature, aren't they? And I felt
that was my experience. I rocked up in a beanie hat to my first BNI.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. I was very smart in how I dressed, because obviously going through, you know, as an accountant, I did feel like a fish out of water. But I kept going. I didn't just go once and thought, oh no, I kept going through the adrenaline and pushing through the nerves, because I met some great business people that I looked up to. I wanted to be a part of that, and that's what I kept going. And then I also realized quickly that there's a lack of social networking in the area. And that's where I developed that with 3 other women at Duncan and Topless. I was like the driving force of it. And I'm still running that 7 years later.
Oh, wow.
Took that with me with Future Cloud. And it's an informal way to develop business. And that's how I grew. So it's through networking at the time, asking a lot of questions, visualizing what I want. And that's how I developed myself there to do it. And also the catalyst it was 2018, and I went through a really bad breakup, actually. And there's things that give you fire in your belly. And I think that is what gave me a lot of, because even when I was with him, I think people can hold you back. Yeah. And I was striving for more, and he wasn't.
Yeah, different energies.
Different energies, 100% different energies. And then, I just spent another year. I'd really got my head down, and I was plotting and planning and thinking, and shall I do it, shall I not? And then I met Charlotte, and she came, and I've known Charlotte years, because she worked at the same firm, but different office. So we knew of each other. She came to my networking, and then we just got talking. And then I was like, I want to do this. I'm doing it this way. I like this. She was like, well, I'm starting to do that too. And I was like, do you like my ideas? And she was like, yeah. So we jumped on it.
That's amazing. I miss having a partner. I would love someone in the business to be so enthusiastic about, and someone say, I like your idea. Like, you know, that would be nice.
Yeah, because I was like, we need hoodies. I want to brand all my gym gear. That's what I said. I want to brand all my gym gear. Could you imagine us coming out as accountants and me doing videos and being ourselves? And I want to. And she was like, oh my gosh, but she was like, yeah, let's do it. But
this is what differentiates accountants these days. I'm constantly going on with my clients saying, you're not going to be able to differentiate yourself on accounting services. Like, it's just not going to happen, because there is too much competition nationwide. But what you can do is differentiate yourself on who you are and what you stand for. And it just helps you stand out, and it helps people connect with you. And I think that is the world we live in. It's a social business world these days. It's not a business world. Or at least in the small business community. I don't know what it's like in corporates. I don't actually care anymore.
Yeah, I know. I was really in my own bubble when we launched Future Cloud, and I was so excited. I don't know, I hardly slept. I was buzzing every morning, getting up. I was fire in my belly. I was going to different networking, having coffee meetings in Costa and Starbucks, no boardroom. My vision was being communications key, with always get in touch quickly with our clients, customer care, actually care about what's happening with the figures and what's going on, rather than going, oh, do you want to just give us your books in a bit, and not letting them know.
Yeah, well, that's not my job. I didn't tell you about it because it's not my job. I knew about it, just didn't tell you about it.
Passing the book, none of that. So yeah, no.
So when you decided to partner up, and I can't remember her name, I'm ever so sorry, my brain's like a sieve. So what made, she's more silent on social. She gets her head down and does the business side. She's not as outgoing as you.
Yeah.
Did you naturally just fall into these roles, or was that something that you decided upon?
Yeah, kind of a bit naturally. We knew that I was very much like, I'm going to get us loads of work. I just know we are. I know I am. I just can do it. She was a bit like, oh, okay. And then naturally, I was the one that went out and just shouted about us.
Mm.
So I was very overexcited, and she's good at like the technical side and the logistics and the calming, the reining me in.
I don't believe she can.
I know. I bet she struggles. I'm the wild one. I need to do everything now. I'm like, we've got this, let's do it. And then she'll be like, no, let's just wait a little bit longer. And I'm like, no.
No, my energy's going to run out quick now.
Catch me while you can. So we are opposite, but it works. Like, as long as we've got each other's backs.
Yeah.
And I remember very much at the beginning, I'd talk a lot about communication on my LinkedIn, about how I prefer it, and that made it easy for her to talk to me, because I'm going to annoy her. She is going to annoy me. And we spoke a lot at the beginning, like sorted things out, made sure we have our catch-ups, talked about if anything was bothering us. That's what you should do as a partnership, not do things behind each other's backs, or I'm doing this and you'll have to like it then. Because you can't be like that. I'm very open-minded. I'm very conscious of other people as well, which really does make a difference.
Yeah, I think you've all got to chip in. And once again, going back to the small business mentality, it's different. You don't just have one thing to do. You have everything to do.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of map out how how your contribution affects the business. Which is lovely that you're opposites, because you bring different skill sets. So that must be really handy.
Really handy. And the more we are the way we are on social media and showing who I am as a person, the team will know how we work. And that's how we wanted it. So, because at first clients will want to see me and Charlotte only, as you can imagine, they do, don't they? And then in time, when we move the team up and doing the client work, it's worked really nicely because they are like us.
Yeah, I think that's a worry for some people. They don't want to be seen as the face of the company too much, because they don't want all of the client work or people to expect too much of their time. But it is manageable. I've spoken to Rachel Harris about this as well. People see her, and they want her, but because of the way that she manages their expectations, they know that actually, they're not going to get her all of the time. So It's just about kind of being visible, but managing expectations.
Exactly. And I think my goal was to make sure me and Charlotte don't do as much client work as both of us. So then we can manage and run the business to where we need it to be. And Charlotte's just come back from nearly a month off going to Florida to a wedding. So the fact that we've got it to the stage that we can manage without either or if need be. Obviously, I'm still, I can't let go, because that's how my brain works. I love being a part of the business. However, we've done pretty well. To say there's been loads of changes with team members this year, it's been a bit of a shit show, if I'm honest. It's not easy, and I'm pulling my hair out some days, but we are getting there, and systems are so important, and that's what we've developed.
So I want to go back to the shit show, because because this is something that you do so well. You tell the truth.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing. You don't hide behind this facade of perfection.
Yeah.
And that hasn't seemed to affect haven't seemed to have affected you getting new business, right?
No, it won't affect. The only thing I haven't done as much this year is me personally go and get new business. If it comes in naturally, fine. I haven't really posted about how to do your bookkeeping, what's going on in accounts, how we can make it better. And to be honest, I haven't done much of that over the years anyway. So, but I have changed towards it just because we've put on a bit of a hold because of the team member situation. So basically, since we started, we hired 2 a year, 2 people, till we got to 10.
Well,
and then 2 people left this year. And it was like, oh, hang on a minute. That's not in my plan. You know, you grow, don't you? You're growing, you're not losing. But we've learned quickly that about recruitment agencies, we've learned quickly that what people potentially say is not who they are, and they might just want to change direction, which the 2 did. And it's like, oh my God, and I've got to not take it personally, but it's all for the better, and it's all for the better for them as well. But at the time it was like, oh, and then you get over it. It doesn't take, you can't let it take long to get over something as well that wasn't what you expected.
I think it's just another building block of growth, isn't it? So every time we get this like chip, you're like, no, I can sort that out. It's fine. I will grow again. It's okay. But they're painful. These growing pains are painful.
They are painful. And I had the pressure of Charlotte's going off soon, like the end of March. Like, what is going on? We've got tax return. And I can imagine. And we got through it. And we are hiring again. And we're taking our time, because sometimes you hire too quickly, get overexcited, and it doesn't work out. So you've got to, we hired quite quickly in the past anyway, but we're looking at hire slower.
Okay. With breath.
But you know, these are all part and parcel of growing a business. And I hope, you know, whoever's listening to this, if you feel the same, message me so I don't feel like it's only yours.
I can assure you it's not only you, but you are one of the only people that talk about it with such honesty online, and I think that's really endearing. And once again, just as a reminder for those listening who are interested in marketing their business, be yourself, be that little bit vulnerable, because it's not going to put people off. It's just telling the truth.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to be a whinge bag. I would never say in a million years that Francesca is a whinge bag. You just tell the truth.
Yeah. And then people trust me more because I say the same to our clients. If they come to me for advice, I'll be like, when was the last time you posted on social media? And they're like, yeah, I can see through it.
So I want to move on a little bit. Now, by the time we're recording before Accountex, by the time this comes out, it will be after Accountex. Now, you've got some stuff going on there, haven't you? You're involved again.
Yes.
So what are you doing?
So I've got one of them. I know that the title is Making Mistakes. So we're sharing the mistakes and helping other people not make them mistakes, even though sometimes you've got to make them. You can't do it perfectly. So it's, even if I listened to someone at the beginning that said to me, this is how to grow your business and do these exact things, don't do it. You've sometimes got to do the mistakes anyway yourself, but I would help others. So I'm going to share the mistakes as such. And there's another talk, and I think it's to do with social media. This, I need to do a bit of research. This is to do with social media, I think. So that should be nice and easy.
Yeah. Once again, like, you have adapted to social media really well. And I know that you're an inspiration for a lot of other accountants, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
What would you say is your 3 top tips for people who are not using social media properly to kind of jump on it and to get business from it?
Yeah, well, I think if you don't personally want to do it, then you just look at outsourcing it and getting the support and someone that can guide you and how to use it. And sometimes it's people that just need someone to tell them what to put, so they'll do it themselves anyway. Even if you're an owner, founder, or whatever, get someone that you can be accountable to, because it is effort. I get that, but definitely post on there. I literally post about my fitness stuff, even though that scares the hell out of me. And sometimes I just want to hide from it because I've got my fitness competition this weekend. But it's accountability, and people want you to do well. Well, not everyone, but most people should want you to do well. And I've had such good feedback. So hobbies, post on there what you're up to. I've posted restaurants. I've done reviews on my YouTube. I shared my YouTube link.
Didn't you do DJ sessions at one stage?
No. So it wasn't. So I got the name DJ Fran. It wasn't a DJ session. It was rubbish. It was me. So when lockdown happened, I did a Facebook Live every 2 weeks on Facebook, and then I ended up sharing it on LinkedIn. But before that, I'd do a quick video of me warming up with some music on YouTube. So it wasn't a DJ set. It was just me going star on YouTube, and I'd say some inspirational words, and I'd do a little shoulder roll and a jig, and people were loving it. Honestly, I got such. I thought, God, I look like a right idiot. Why would people watch that? But they were. And the more they were saying, I can't wait for next Thursday's DJ Fran, I'm thinking, oh my God, the pressure. Yeah. I even danced with my chair at one point. I don't want to watch any of them back. I can't do it. I get throwbacks on my phone, like memories of it. I might have to download one and share it again so people know what I'm going on about.
Yeah. The one that with your chair slide, it's an absolute classic. It's a gold. You know, if you were going to go back through it like internet gold, it would be up there.
I can't believe the traction that got. Seriously, that's when my followers were ridiculous, coming in thick and fast. And now I'm a bit more professional. No, not really. But now I'm a bit more, that I've stopped doing that. It's not the same, but I can't do that all the time.
No, you can't. But why do you think, if you just got a little bit introspective for a second, why do you think that people really connected with that? What was it about you doing like silly stuff and sliding on your chair that resonated?
I like making people laugh, and the thought of making others smile, I loved that. So I think they did it because secretly everyone wants to be a bit silly, don't they? Especially professional people. They've all got personalities. They all have a good jig and a dance at a bar, but they don't want others to know they do that. So for me, doing it with my office chair was just crazy but silly. And someone came up to me on my last year's talk at Accountex and actually said, at first I thought, what the hell are you doing? It's rubbish. Like, as if you do that. And then she said, but I couldn't stop looking at you. And I kept watching you. That's why I've come to see you talk. I don't know whether to be offended.
You are my guilty pleasure.
Like obsessed with watching what you was up to. And
yeah,
it's weird. It's nice. But I'm like that with other people. I love watching what people are up to on social media.
Yeah.
And YouTube.
I absolutely. I enjoy other people's content, and I love seeing people be free, be successful, winning. Like, it just makes my day better seeing people happy, just in general. Everything that happy encapsulates.
Yeah.
But there is a negative side, isn't there? Like, people don't get it. Yeah. And that must get to you sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had some like comments before. Not many, but some either like rude, or you get a bit of a stalker, or they'll inbox you. They think they know you, and someone
randomly. They know these grenade bars. They've seen your daughter pass her test. You know, me and you are besties now. That's
it. I know. And also, you have to be careful what you wish for, because I was like really wanting everyone to be I wanted to inspire everybody, and then I got the following and stuff, but it's hard work, and you feel like you've got to keep up with it. Yeah. And then, so I know not to pressure myself. And actually, I don't plan any of my content. Like, I did the video, freestyled it this morning, said I was doing this with you, added a few other things in, the truth bits about the weekend, and that's that. You don't have to overthink your content, and not every content will go viral.
No, absolutely. My most viral post, I think, in the history of ever, and I put my wedding photos up, and they didn't get this much, was about crumpets.
Crumpets? Oh, I think I remember. Didn't I say peanut butter and banana or something? You asked what you pop in.
Yeah, and I was like, put some sweet chili sauce on top of that, and you got a winner.
Oh, I've never tried that. Is that what went viral? Well, viral, but did well.
It was my most successful post in the history of me posting. It's so bizarre. It is so bizarre. What
people were like, but you won't get work from that.
No, but I got opportunities from it. I wouldn't say I definitely got work from it, but I got more connections and more because of the people I'm connected to. The people that saw the post were accountants, so I got more connections in the right area. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that it was the most successful sales post.
Yes,
but it was the most successful reach.
Yeah, people like popular people, don't they? They like things, you know, you can shout about things like I'm now a council member of the AET. I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah, I know. And I didn't think in a million years they'd have me on there. And one of the guys that are on the council said to me, you should definitely give it a go. Give it a go. He asked me for about 2 years. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give a personal statement. And I got elected. And honestly, the opportunity there, even though it scares me sometimes, is amazing. Like, I'm so pleased I did it. And just to be a part of that, I'm only on there for a year. Whether I go for it again and get re-elected, I'm not 100% sure. However, honestly, I'm just so happy that I did it, because I actually really thought they wouldn't have me on there.
It's funny that you would even consider like that. I would imagine that's like imposter syndrome, what you're describing.
Yeah.
But like, it's so funny to hear you say it when you're such a confident person and you're so ambitious and you're so tenacious and everyone sees you with so much drive. So to think that there is stuff going on underneath, it's like, oh, am I? Should I? Could I? It's weird.
Yeah, because I'm different. And that's what I thought, well, they want me on there, because it's a council member. It even sounds quite old-fashioned, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But the world's changing, and AAT want the change. They want to help the industry make it better and more personable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is spot on for you. And I love the fact that you've gone through your 1, 2, 3 and your 4 and you've got your job and you this was the start of your career, and to be able to give back, that's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not even got a couple of years till I'm 40. But
you're talking to a 40, how old am I? 42-year-old. So easy now, Tiger.
Still young though, isn't it? We're still young. But I've got loads of little ideas that come to me. So I don't think that's it just as future cloud accounting. You just don't know what else is around the corner. Watch this space.
This is exciting stuff. Right, so we're going to wrap this up, but I have one question for you. You ready?
Yeah.
What's the sexiest thing about accountants?
Oh. They can get to know the ins and outs of you as a person. So our clients, you can have 10% chat on the accounts. We have sexy conversations. This is really hard. What do other people say?
Other people have said, well, Rachel Harris said her husband.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, they work together, don't they?
We had Peter Marlowe. He's always sticks out because he said, well, they can party really hard.
See, DJ fan.
But most of the time it is about the value, and that's the essence of this podcast, really. It's about the value that they add to their clients and the value that they add to the community. And they just don't bloody recognize it. So that's what this is all about.
Brilliant. Sexy conversations.
Exactly. Sexy conversations. Right. Francesca, you've been amazing. I will point people towards your LinkedIn profile if that's a good place to find you.
Thank you.
And maybe even my YouTube as well.
Yeah, you can have my YouTube. Let me know what I need to send you for the links. And
I'm good with links. I'm pretty tech savvy, so I'll do that. I just wanted to double check. But thank you ever so much for coming on as my guest.
Thank you.